chosen one. Do you know why your life seems to disturb so many people, even when you do absolutely nothing against them? Do you know why your name bothers others, even when you stay silent? Why your presence alone is enough to awaken envy, hatred, and pointless attacks? Because you are chosen, and the energy surrounding you is too powerful to be ignored. You don't need to raise your voice to be noticed. You don't need to seek conflict to attract resistance. Your light provokes confrontation because it reveals shadows that many try to hide. And those who live in darkness hate those who shine without permission. Since the day you were born, your existence was marked, and many have tried, and still try, to erase your essence. They did it with words, with looks, with disguised contempt, with silent betrayals. But there is something they all forgot. The law of return never fails. The universe is extremely just with those who are unjust to the chosen. Because touching someone who carries a divine calling is like trying to extinguish a flame blown by God. It's impossible and dangerous. How many humiliated you, thinking you would never rise? How many diminished you, silenced you, pushed you away? And today, where are they? The law of return acts silently but surely. It doesn't shout, it doesn't hurry, but it always arrives. And when it arrives, it collects every injustice, every word thrown with venom, every attack disguised as concern, every attempt of sabotage. What they did to you, they will reap in proportions they can't even imagine. Not for revenge, but for divine justice. Because when someone rises against a chosen, they are not just attacking a person. They are confronting a mission. They are trying to stop a purpose. And heaven never allows that to go unpunished. You might not see it with your natural eyes, but in the spiritual world, consequences are already underway. Doors that closed for those who harmed you, projects that don't move forward, peace that vanished, lives that became stagnant. And the more you advance on your journey, the more they feel the effects of what they planted. Not because you wished them harm, but because the harvest is inevitable. Who plants pain in the life of a chosen reaps chaos in their own destiny. The truth is, many never understood who you are. They underestimated you. They judged you by your appearance, your silence, your temporary falls. But what they didn't know is that God was hiding you, protecting you while preparing you. And now, when your light begins to reveal itself, they can't stand to see what you've become. They are disturbed by your strength, your resilience, your ability to keep going even when wounded. They expected your end, but God decreed a new beginning. And the more you grow, the more obvious the difference between you and them becomes. Because the chosen carry a light that cannot be extinguished. And that causes despair in those who live in darkness. Many who attacked you now suffer with their own conscience. They don't sleep in peace. They try to disguise the emptiness with appearances, with possessions, with fake smiles. But inside them, something burns. It's the pain of knowing they touched someone guarded by heaven. It's the guilt that follows them, even when they pretend nothing happened. Some even tried to come back, ask for forgiveness, get closer again. Not out of sincere repentance, but out of fear of what they are facing. Because they know the chosen is like a spiritual mirror. Whoever attacks you destroys themselves with their own reflection. You are protected by forces they don't understand. You are surrounded by angels watching your steps. And when someone tries to hurt you, it's like throwing stones at the sky. They always come back and come back heavier. You were chosen for something great, and because of that, your path would never be ordinary. The pain you felt, the abandonment, the disappointments, none of it was in vain. It was all part of shaping a warrior of light, a living instrument of divine justice. And now, with the awakening of your consciousness, nothing will ever be the same. Because those who carry God's seal do not bow to the world system, do not hold on to the past, do not limit themselves to human logic. You know there is something greater guiding you, and that is enough to keep going. While many try to understand your resistance, you simply walk. While many try to repeat your falls, you just rise again. You are proof that God's grace never abandons His own, and whoever dares to touch that grace will feel the weight of cosmic justice. Keep going. Move forward. Don't worry about those who hurt you. The answer to every attack is already on its way, and it will be visible, undeniable, cruel. To those who thought they could play with divine choice, have you ever noticed that most of the people who attack you aren't at peace with themselves? They carry wounds, frustrations, feelings of inferiority. They project onto you what they can't bear to face within themselves. You became a target not because of what you did, but because of who you are. Your very essence shakes their foundations. Your light screams against the darkness they pretend not to have. And that drives them insane. They smile on the outside but hate you on the inside. They fake friendship but rejoice when something goes wrong for you, and fall silent when life starts to honor you, because to them, you are a cruel reminder of everything they are not, but wish they could be. And that is exactly when the law of return begins to act. It doesn't return evil with the same kind of evil. It doesn't replicate vengeance. It brings lessons, harsh, deep, and often irreversible lessons. Those who tried to humiliate you end up humiliating themselves before life. Those who rejected you begin to feel the weight of the emptiness they caused. Those who betrayed you start to be betrayed in exactly the same way they hurt you. Because the universe, or better said, the spiritual kingdom, watches everything. Nothing goes unnoticed before God, and He does not sleep. He waits for the right moment to act. And when He acts, there is no hiding. That's why you've probably noticed people who harmed you start to drift away. Not by their choice, but because spiritually, they can no longer bear to be near you. The energy you carry now that you have awakened is unbearable for those who live in the vibration of deception. You have become a spiritual fortress, not because you were never hurt, but because you were rebuilt with divine materials. Your soul is a celestial structure inhabiting the physical plane. And that makes you a portal of justice. Every time you pray, you activate heaven's protection. Every time you forgive, you release God's judgment over those who hurt you. Every time you choose to continue, even tired, you accelerate the cycle of return for those who planted destruction in your life. Many don't even realize what they are reaping. They think it's bad luck, that life turned against them by chance. But deep down, their soul knows they touched the untouchable, knows they mocked the wrong chosen one, knows the price would be high. Because when someone causes pain to a chosen, they are not just offending, they are unleashing a spiritual war. And in that war, heaven always takes sides, always protects its own, always charges with precision. That's why you don't need to wish harm. You don't need to respond or seek revenge. Their own existence will take care of justice. The universe turns, but divine justice, it flies. And those who plant storms in the life of a chosen reap the silence of God. And the silence of God is deafening. You were tested, hurt, betrayed, humiliated. But all of that only made you stronger. Today you are someone who does not shake before spiritual threats because you learned to walk with the invisible by your side. You learned to trust the greater plan even when everything seemed to fall apart. While many doubted you, God was shaping you. While they mocked your faith, heaven was organizing your return. And now that you stand again, the spiritual world answers for you. Those who threw you into the pit now see you being lifted. Those who tried to bury you see you blooming. And that hurts them more than any revenge you could plan. Do you know why? Because divine justice is educational. It teaches. It transforms the offender into an example. It exposes the mistake with such a bright light that there's no room for excuses. And you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your own life will be the answer. Your ascension will be their humiliation. Your shine will expose the darkness they tried to hide. The chosen does not need to shout. He just walks, and every step is followed by a celestial entourage, angels, guardian spirits, invisible forces that move by direct order from the throne. That's why nothing destroyed you. That's why you survived things others couldn't bear. Because you were guarded for a greater purpose. And those who try to obstruct that purpose are run over by their own destiny. Life closes doors. Their soul screams. Their spirit despairs. They try to run, but there's nowhere to hide. Because they aren't fighting against you. They're fighting against the one who chose you. And that, no one wins. You are chosen. Have you ever noticed why your life seems to stir so many people, even when you do absolutely nothing against them? Do you know why your name bothers them, even when you remain silent? Why does your presence alone awaken envy, hatred, and unwarranted attacks? Because you are chosen, and the energy surrounding you is too powerful to be ignored. You don't need to raise your voice to be noticed. You don't need to seek conflicts to attract resistance. Your light provokes confrontation because it reveals shadows that many try to hide. And those who live in darkness hate those who shine without permission. Since the moment you were born, your existence was marked, and many tried, and still try, to extinguish your essence. They did this with words, with looks, with disguised contempt, with silent betrayals. But there's something they all forgot. The law of return never fails. The universe is extremely just with those who are unjust to the chosen. Because touching someone who carries a divine calling is like trying to extinguish a flame blown by God. It's impossible and dangerous. How many humiliated you, thinking you'd never rise? How many diminished you, silenced you, distanced you? And today, where are they? The law of return acts silently, but surely. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, but it always arrives. And when it does, it demands each injustice, each word thrown with venom, each attack disguised as concern, each attempt at sabotage. What they did against you, they will reap in proportions they can't imagine, not out of revenge, but out of divine justice. Because when someone rises against a chosen one, they're not just attacking a person, they're confronting a mission, they're trying to hinder a purpose, and heaven never allows that to go unpunished. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but in the spiritual world, consequences are already in motion. Doors that closed for those who wronged you, projects that don't advance, peace that disappeared, lives that stagnated. And the more you progress on your journey, the more they feel the effects of what they planted. Not because you wish them harm, but because the harvest is inevitable. Those who plant pain in the life of a chosen one reap chaos in their own destiny. The truth is, many never understood who you are. They underestimated you. They judged you by appearance, by silence, by temporary falls. But what they didn't know is that God was hiding you, protecting you while preparing you. And now, as your light begins to shine, they can't bear to see what you've become. They are bothered by your strength, your resilience, your ability to continue even when wounded. They expected your end. But God decreed a new beginning. And the more you grow, the more the difference between you and them becomes evident. Because those who are chosen carry a light that can't be extinguished. And that drives those who live in darkness into despair. Many of those who attacked you now suffer from their own conscience. They can't sleep in peace. They try to disguise the emptiness with appearances, with false smiles. But inside them, something burns. It's the pain of knowing they touch someone heaven protects. It's the guilt that accompanies them even when they pretend nothing happened. Some even tried to return, ask for forgiveness, reconnect. Not out of sincere repentance, but out of fear of what they're facing. Because they know the chosen one is like a spiritual mirror. Those who attack you destroy themselves with their own reflection. You are protected by forces they don't understand. You are surrounded by angels who watch your steps. And when someone tries to harm you, it's like throwing stones at the sky. They always return, and return heavier. You were chosen for something great, and that's why your walk would never be ordinary. The pain you felt, the abandonment, the disappointments, none of it was in vain. Everything was part of forming a warrior of light, a living instrument of divine justice. And now, with the awakening of your consciousness, nothing will be the same, because those who carry God's seal don't bow to the world's system. They don't cling to the past. They don't limit themselves to human logic. You know there's something greater guiding you, and that's enough to keep going. While many try to understand your resistance, you simply walk. While many try to repeat your falls, you just rise. You are the proof that God's grace doesn't abandon His own. And those who dare touch this grace will feel the weight of cosmic justice. Keep going. Move forward. Don't worry about those who hurt you. The answer to each attack is already on its way. And it will be visible, undeniable, cruel, for those who thought they could play with divine choice. You need to hear this with all the attention of your heart, because the truth I am about to reveal will open your eyes to the invisible dimension of your journey. The spiritual battlefield is no place for amateurs or those who let fear dominate them. It is the territory of the chosen, those marked with a sacred purpose, who have provoked a war that goes beyond the limits of the physical world. You are the center of this cosmic battle. Heaven and hell fight for your soul, your mission, your legacy. Every thought you have, every action you take, every decision you make echoes in the spiritual realm and impacts forces that most people cannot even perceive. That is why it is no coincidence you have faced so many difficulties and resistances. These are tests sent to shape your strength, to prove that you are prepared for the war you are destined to fight. But pay attention. This war is not against you, but inside you. The enemy tries to use human weaknesses, fears, doubts to weaken the chosen. He knows he cannot destroy you, but he can try to divert you from your path. That is why you must always stay vigilant, like a warrior who never sleeps while his destiny is at stake. You were called for a mission much greater than you imagine. Your suffering, your struggles, your falls are the fertile ground where God plants your victory. Every scar you carry is a seal of your resistance, an emblem proving you have already won battles most could never endure. And even when heaven seems silent, even when everything seems lost, know that it is precisely at that moment that divine forces are working to turn the tide in your favor. God acts silently, in secret, preparing the ground for your glorious rebirth. Do not be deceived by appearances. What you see with your physical eyes is only a fraction of what is truly happening. The real conflict is invisible, spiritual, and only the chosen can perceive the signs that indicate victory is near. So keep your faith unshakable. Keep your heart aligned with the Creator's truth. Because heaven only fights for those who never abandon the fight, and you, chosen, have never given up. Now look ahead. The time of trials is coming to an end. A new era is about to begin for you, an era where divine justice will manifest fully in your life. Hell may try until the very last moment, but know that your destiny is sealed by God Himself. You are not a victim, you are a warrior. You are not a mere mortal, you are the chosen. And in the spiritual war you provoked, heaven and hell may fight over your soul, but the victory already belongs to you. You provoked a war that transcends the visible, a battle fought in the spiritual realm, where forces beyond human understanding confront each other for your destiny. You, chosen, are not here by chance. Heaven and hell wage a fierce struggle for you, for your soul, for your sacred mission. Understand that everything you have experienced is not a mere coincidence or ordinary fate. It is a cosmic, spiritual, real battle where your worth is tested every moment. You are the one who awakened something that shook the invisible pillars of the universe. The enemy, seeing your potential, rises against you, trying to divert your path, to extinguish your light. But the war he wages is precisely because you represent a threat, a light that cannot be put out, a chosen one who carries the Creator's power. However, do not be mistaken. This war is not only outside you, but also inside your own being. It is a fight between faith and doubt, between fear and courage, between weakness and spiritual strength. Every moment you feel like giving up, the battle intensifies because the enemy knows your greatest power lies in your perseverance. Remember the words of ancient sacred texts, where the victory of the righteous is not the absence of struggle, but the endurance amidst chaos. You are the warrior chosen to endure the fire, to face the darkness and come out victorious. Your life is proof that miracles happen, that the impossible becomes possible. Now you must understand that you are not alone in this war. Heaven rises in your favor, with angels and divine forces who never rest, who conspire for your victory. They fight silently, protecting your steps, opening doors where everything seemed closed. But this protection does not cancel your responsibility to fight, to keep faith, to stand firm. Do not let life's storms make you forget your strength. Every attack, every sabotage, Every moment of loneliness was a divine preparation so you would become this unbeatable warrior. It is not time to retreat. It is time to advance, with the certainty that heaven is on your side. Look within yourself and find that strength that has no human origin. It is the divine breath that makes you unique, that makes you special. You are the one chosen to be light in the midst of darkness, to transform chaos into order, to be the living sign of the Creator's power. The enemy tries to use your doubts, your wounds, your insecurities against you, but that only reveals how important you are. Because if it were not so, he wouldn't waste his time. The war you provoked in the spiritual realm is proof that you are destined for something great. You are being shaped by battles, strengthened by struggles, blessed by trials. Every difficult moment is a divine opportunity to grow, to become even stronger, to reaffirm your sacred mission. So, chosen, rise with your head held high, because heaven does not fight for cowards. It fights for those who have the courage to face the fire and come out transformed. You are that chosen one. The war has been declared, but the victory is already yours. The future that awaits you is one of glory, transformation, a fulfilled purpose that will echo through the ages. The spiritual battle can be cruel, but the light you carry is stronger than any darkness. Now look to the horizon and see the new time approaching. A time when divine justice will manifest in your life, clearly and definitively. Hell may try until the last moment, but your destiny is sealed by the Creator. Do not let fear paralyze you. Do not let the voices of doubt silence your faith. You are the living proof that miracles exist, that divine power never abandons its chosen. Feel this truth pulsing in your veins, for it is your armor, your shield against the forces trying to bring you down. The spiritual war is intense, but you are far stronger than you imagine. And when everything seems lost, remember, the silence of heaven is not absence of help. It is preparation for a glorious rebirth. God works behind the scenes, preparing your victory as you keep the faith. You are not alone, warrior. Heaven is with you, fighting for you, sustaining your soul. This war you provoked is your chance to become a living legend, an example of faith, courage, and divine power. Do not settle for less. You were called for something great, to be an instrument of light in a world desperately in need of hope. Chosen, prepare for glory. The battle continues, but victory is already certain. Heaven and hell dispute you, but you belong to the eternal light. Chosen one, you are not here by chance. The war you triggered in the spiritual realm is living proof that you have a higher purpose, a divine destiny being fiercely contested between heaven and hell. This battle isn't against people, but against invisible forces that recognize in you a light powerful enough to threaten the darkness. And that's why both heaven and hell fight for you, because you are special. You are the chosen one. Every challenge, every attack you've endured was preparation. It was the fire that purified your spirit and strengthened your soul. You're not just any warrior. You are a divine soldier, destined to transform lives, to be a force of change in this world. And that's exactly why the forces of darkness are trying to bring you down, because they know you are a real threat to their kingdom. But heaven stands with you, sending angels, signs, and invisible protection that only those with eyes to see can recognize. This battle is yours, but you are not alone. The power that sustains you comes from the Creator, from the light that has lived inside you since the beginning of time. Now is the time to step into your place, to raise your voice, and show that you are unstoppable. That nothing can extinguish the flame burning in your heart, that nothing can prevent you from fulfilling your mission. You are the living proof that the impossible can be conquered, that miracles do happen, that faith is stronger than any storm. If you feel this truth, if you recognize this power within yourself, I ask you to act now. Like this video, to strengthen this message and help this light reach more people who also need to awaken to their truth. Share it so that other chosen ones know they are not alone in this battle. And subscribe to the channel to keep receiving messages that will nourish your soul, strengthen your faith, and prepare you for the victories that are still to come. Don't let this flame go out. You were chosen to win, to transform, and to be the light that guides many. And I am here to walk beside you on this journey. Get ready, because the best is yet to come. And remember, heaven is with you, always.